arrival, and then a new challenge that began. When I was around 2 or 3 years old, I remember in our backyard, there was this little hill, and my parents had taught us how to cross-country ski. And I just loved to go down that little hill all the way forward and climb back up and slide back down that hill. And that small little passion continued as I grew up a little bit more. And as I went skiing with my parents, we would often see this hill at the end of our day of skiing cross country. And we'd climb up with our little legs and we'd slide down with these cross country skis. And I remember my father, whom I love very dearly, said to me, you know, it would probably be a good idea that we try downhill skiing someday. Well, when I was a teen, I finally had the chance to go cross-country skiing. Or not cross-country skiing, downhill skiing. And you know what? It was really great. At first, they taught us how to do the basics. So the wedges, the turns, and how to stop. And then afterwards, a friend of ours, a group of friends, we all gathered together and went on different hills. And we were on our second hill. And there were different runs. And we were told when we got off the lift to be careful because the lift and the path towards the intermediate, so the blue hills or the green hills, which are beginners' hills, were to the left. And to be very careful to stick to the left because there's a wedge, very, very small wedge between the beginner hills and the very advanced double black diamond advanced hills. And our group was like, no worries at all. But you see, as we were going, and since my friends had seen me skiing just a little bit since the start of the day, some of them didn't believe that this was actually my first time out downhill skiing. And they were teasing me and so forth, and I was insisting, no, this is really the first time I have been downhill skiing. One of my friends decided that he was going to play a trick on me, a joke, just to prove that this wasn't the first time. And as we approached the double black diamond hill, he pushed me down. And immediately it was too late. I couldn't go back. And suddenly I started to see tunnel vision. And all I could remember was when I was really small and my skis were pointing down the hills. And that's exactly what it was doing. I remember it was so steep. I was so scared. I could hardly see my skis. So now that I had tunnel vision and hardly could see my skis, and I was tightening up and I was really, really scared of this ride, I think I even screamed for dear life at the beginning. And it was then that my friend realized that he had made a really, really grave mistake. I'm sorry, Kim. It was just a joke. I really thought you knew how to ski, but I didn't know. And as I was skiing, there was people yelling to me, "You gotta slow down!" And all I could respond was, "I don't know how!" And my skis just kept on going and going, and faster I went. I don't remember most of the run. It's a blur, but there is one part of the run I will never forget. It was the end of that wonderful steep hill. And at the bottom of that hill, there was this person that was skiing. And when I saw this person skiing, I yelled down, "Get out of the way!" But the person wasn't moving. No matter how many times I'd yell at him, "Come on, get out of the way, I can't stop." He wasn't hearing me. I was fearing for the worst. Oh dear, this is really, really going to hurt. The man was skiing down the hill with his legs apart on a very wide stance. And I was like, oh, maybe, just maybe if I put myself down in a little ball, it won't hurt as much. So I scrouched myself down in a little ball and tucked my head in. And I was like, put my skis together and oh dear, oh dear. And of course it was going quicker and quicker while this was going on, and trees were passing by. And then closed my eyes. And the last thing I remember was hearing swoosh. And then suddenly my skis went a little bit up a hill. And then they stopped. I opened my eyes. Kind of like touched myself to make sure I was okay. I was just rattling like a little leaf during a storm. And I was looking left and right, and I realized there were ski racks to my left and to my right. How did I not hit them? Who knows? But thank God. And just as I was starting to get up, my friend was like, "Oh, dude, did you see that? Did you see what you just did?" Okay, that was really not funny. I told you I was a beginner skier. I know, I'm sorry, but you got to see this. You see that man there? Yeah, of course, I told him to get out of the way. Yeah, but do you know what happened? No, I probably passed beside him. Oh, no. You didn't pass beside him, dear. You passed right between his little legs. Oh, come on. You're pulling my legs. That's not true. Oh, yes, it is. Look back for yourself and look what he's doing. So then I looked back, and you know what I saw? This man was standing back there. His legs were apart, and he was looking between his legs and out front, and shaking his head in disbelief, and again between his legs and out front, as he was slowly making his way to the bottom of the hill. Didn't believe him, but after seeing his reaction, I kind of had to start to believe my friend. Shortly thereafter, I was visited by the wonderful patrol, who told me, "Missus, if you keep on skiing like that, I'm going to have to cut off your ski pass and you're not going to ski for the rest of the day. Is that clear?" Of course, I agreed. And my friend explained the whole situation, saying that it was a joke that had gone wrong. But the damage was done. I now had a new fear that was engraved in me, a fear of skiing, especially a fear of skiing steep hills. I don't remember if I went out that day with my friends again. I do remember how shaken up I was. I do remember also that it took a couple of years before I went back. Actually, it was when I was an adult, and I had decided that I was going to go back to conquer this fear. Why? I remembered that little girl that I was. I remembered how much fun I was having on my cross-country skis on those little hills and just sliding and laughing away. I was like, I have to like downhill skiing. There must be a way. At least I have to give it a really good chance. So I went and I bought myself ski equipment, a new ski suit, a pass to go skiing, and lots of lessons, because I certainly was not going to go out there without having proper lessons. So on January 6, 2002, I showed up for my first lesson, all proud on my new skis in my new little suit, and everything was fine until I got up the hill. And it was when I was up the hill that fear returned. I could feel the saliva in my throat and my whole body tense up. And even if the instructor had shown the way down, the path looked so small and I started to have tunnel vision. Well, long story short, the instructor was really good, and he actually helped me work past that. And we worked and we started to ski, and soon enough, he also said, "You're pretty good on your skis." He said, have you skied before? And I said, well, once, a long time ago, long story, bad story, didn't want to hear it. And then he says, well, do you skate, play hockey, or any winter sports? I'm like, oh, absolutely. I played regatta, I did cross-country skiing, and I started to list all the other sports that I had done. He then understood that that natural ability that I was showing was because I had already done some winter sports. It goes hand in hand, and it sure helps when you're trying a new sport. So the lessons went well. And I was really, really happy that I was finally starting to ski. And as days went by, each day I'd show up to the hill, each day I'd take a lesson. And I started to get good. One day, one of my instructors said, you know, did the school director talk to you about being a teacher's assistant? Teacher's assistant? Oh yeah, it's those people that help when there's like an instructor and they help the instructor to, manage the students. No, he never talked about that. But when he said the word instructor, something lit up in me. And I was like, whoa, now that would be real cool. So now I had a new vision in my mind. I'd started to conquer my fear. Things were going well. But what if I could become an instructor? So I started to ask questions. Well, what would it take to be an instructor? When are the tests? And so forth. And I learned that there was going to be a test less than 4 months away at the end of the season. And I'm like, sweet, I'm going to go for that testing. So every day, once again, I showed up. And I went to that testing. And a lot of the participants during that evaluation, they were really impressed that I had only 4 months of skiing. So much so, some people that had 20 years of skiing didn't look so agile on the skis as I did. And I was getting a little proud. And then the evaluations were over, and we were sitting there waiting for the good news or bad news, since the head instructor had said, I have some good news and I have some bad news. There's some of you guys that passed. You did a good job. But unfortunately, there are a couple that have not passed. So I was waiting there. Have you ever been the last pick for a team? I was just holding my seat. I was nervous like you wouldn't believe. One name named, another name, but my name was never named. And then he finished off by saying, I thank you all, and I wish you guys good luck in your instruction. But he didn't name me. Did he forget me? My friends beside me were like, oh, don't worry, Kim. He probably just forgot your name. We'll go see him afterwards. But something in me knew that it was just not enough. And I nearly started to cry. And then suddenly the head school instructor did this. So little sheepish me started walking towards the instructor. Yeah. As you could see, you didn't pass. I could have given you your certification. You do have that skill. Yet there was lacking some consistency. You didn't always keep up. Yeah, I could see that. I want so much more from you. I know you can do so much more. So what I want you to do is I want you to come here next year in November and become a teacher's assistant. The instructors and the teacher's assistant, they come to the hill before everyone else does in November. And we practice each weekend on our techniques. And then in the first certification for level 1 instructors, you're going to take it again. And you, my dear, are going to pass. Yes, sir. I'll be there in November, that's for sure. But my oomph was gone. I felt like I had been stumbled over. My My aspirations for that 1 year was like, ooh, I didn't get it. I walked back to my seat and it took everything I could, but finally I cried. And I felt like I had failed. And my friends were like, oh, what? I mean, you were so good. You were better than some of these people that got it. But I didn't want to hear any of that because it's true. My level had to be up another notch, and I was able to reach it. And I was so happy he didn't give me this certification. So the summer came by, and then the fall, and of course, I went for that instructor's level, and I got it. And you know what? That year was my first year as an instructor. I taught some people from 2 years old to 78 years old. I had so much fun. I had classes or sometimes single people, and it was so amazing. I was really in my element. And then at the end of the year, there's like these awards that they give out. And I was nominated, yet not awarded, for Rookie of the Year, Instructor of the Year, and Funniest Instructor. It was really awesome, and I was really proud of my accomplishment. By the way, my name is Kim St-Laurent, and I wanted to share this story with you because I also have a couple of 3 points to share with you if ever you want to achieve something in your own life. I'm just going to pull up my nice little screen here, so just give me a moment. So you just heard my story, a day my fear met her rival and a new challenge birthed. Well, it's true. It was a challenge. And at first, when I first wanted to conquer my fear, I needed to believe in myself. So if you want to surmount something, you need to believe in yourself. You also have to surround yourself with those who believe in you. For example, an analogy that I really like, if you put a candle on a windowsill all by itself and you light that candle, just the slightest wind will blow out the candle. Yet if you start and you put hundreds of candles near that windowsill, what you will see happen with that same wind is at first it'll blow out a few, but the flames of all the other candles will reignite that one candle or the few candles that had burnt out. So it's so important to surround yourself with people who believe in yourself, in you. And plus, another good thing to do, especially if you want to build momentum and belief, is you want to encourage others. Because it's one thing to believe in yourself or have people believe in you, but it's a whole other gift to encourage others. The second thing is you want to decide and show up. You have to decide that you want to make change your desire. In other words, I wanted to beat my own fear. I wanted to grow. So I had to choose change over staying in the same place. You also have to commit and be accountable. I committed. Each day I would get up first thing in the morning, drive 1 hour away, get to the hill as soon as it opened, ski, get instructed, finish my ski day in early afternoon, drive to my work, finish late, and repeat the cycle every day. And another thing is you got to show up. If you don't show up, nothing's ever going to happen. It's always going to stay the same. Oh, and about being accountable, the more people that you know are doing something, the more liable you are to follow through. The third thing is to be teachable and allow yourself to grow. You may want to get a coach, a mentor, or some sort of lessons to lead you towards what you really want to achieve. Another thing you want to do is ski with people who are better than you. I put ski in brackets because it probably won't be skiing that you'll be doing with people. But whatever you want to do, is it speaking? Is it starting your own business? Well, you want to go and meet people who are better than you. When I started out skiing, one thing my instructors did was after the lessons, they said, "Hey, Kim, do you want to come on and ski with us?" And I was like, "Hey, yeah, that would be cool." So I started to follow them. And soon enough, of course, because they were very advanced, level 4s and 3s, they were skiing on all hills. So soon enough, I had to go on those same double black diamond hills I was afraid of. I remember the first time I was facing that hill and they were all waiting their turn to go down and so forth. And when it came my time, I froze. I started to have that tunnel vision and I was really getting worried. Then my instructor looked up. He says, "Hey, Kim," and he gave me a couple of pointers. "You can do this. Come on, girl." So then I just went down. And they had all gone down that wonderful hill. And at one point, I lost my footing. Could you imagine what happened? Bing, bang, bida-da-boom. I fell all over the place. And I found myself rolling over in the snow, my ski way above my head. And then it stopped. But I was okay. I actually laughed about it. I was really more embarrassed, hoping that they didn't see. But sure enough, they had stopped skiing. And who were they looking at? You got it. They were looking at me. So you really want to ski with people or be with people who are better than you because you learn. And since I fell, I was able to learn from my fall. Another thing that you want to do is laugh at your mistakes. That is so important. Like my past example of when I ended up looking like a snowman and them laughing at me, I also laughed at myself. It took me a couple of minutes to take the snow out of my goggles. But it's so important to laugh at our mistakes and most importantly, learn something from our mistakes. Because if we keep on repeating something, then we're basically insane. But if we're learning something and changing it and changing the direction, then we're moving towards where we want to be. You also want to be open and set new and achievable goals. When I started to get comfortable on my skis and started to learn a lot, when the word instructor popped into the conversation, there was a new goal, and I knew I wanted to achieve it. So you need to be open to the possibilities that your goals actually have to be reset for new and empowering and achievable goals. Now, would you have something, a goal, that you are or you would like to be working towards? Would you like to break through to that next level of your potential? Would you love more strategies and accountability to move forward? If any of these or all of these sound interesting to you and you enjoyed this day today, well, I have a special offer for you. For $563.87, which is $4.99 plus our wonderful little tax here in Quebec, per session, that's a price freeze from my normal prices for 6 months. So if you're interested in any type of coaching, feel free to contact me. And just to tell you a little bit of who I am, I have been trained with some of the world's finest. I have been trained through Robbins and Madonna's training. I have my neuro-linguistic programming practitioner certificate. I have my master's in hypnosis and many other certifications and so forth. I have over 200 hours of different types of coaching that I have done. And if you are interested in any one of my programs, feel free to contact me. And of course, I really would like to have your feedback about today. And I look forward to speaking to you if you are interested in working with me. My name is Kim St-Laurent. I'm a strategist and a speaker. My clients call me coach. I love it when they do that. And if you want to reach me, the best way to do so for now is by my email or write me a message below. either at cast@cast.cc, so that is KAST at KAST.cc. So I really want to thank you for your time today. I really hope you enjoyed your evening with me, and I really look forward to hearing from you. Please do leave your comments down below, and I really hope that if you have something you achieve or you want to achieve, that you're going to go for it full-heartedly, because this is your time to shine. Thank you so much for your time. I've enjoyed talking to you, and I look forward to the next time. You take care now.